Okay, what are we thinking? Just give me one.
The British exit.
Okay, the whole Brexit. We're going international flair. What else? Joe, what's next one?
What? I was thinking Super Bowl.
Okay. Any favorite commercials?
No.
It was a letdown.
It's a real Donald Trump.
Did you hear Bernie Sanders was calling them out yesterday? Fake. Or not fraud. Fraud was the word that was using. Just based on things we're saying with draining the swamp, fighting Wall Street, and now hiring all those people in. Ryan, anything?
California.
Cap.
They were talking about split.
Like you mean like separating from? Years ago, when I was in high school, it was that we were going to absorb Quebec. That didn't happen. I see Luke going that way for student congress now. Let's just absorb all of Canada. 51st state. What else?
Any kind of musical one.
Okay. Anything like specific come to mind so far as artist or? Okay. What was Beyonce's news last week?
Yeah, she's pregnant.
You had that one down? What number? Is that like number one?
4.
4. What did you put ahead of it?
What? I just came to my mind. Like it's not.
Okay. Luke.
Our alternative planets are real.
Did you see 1984 is going to be a Broadway show?
Really? That's great.
And I'm just going to kind of throw in social media with it. Or are you, well, before I kind of do that, are you just thinking of it like as something that everyone uses or more because of now with Trump and.
I guess both. It's more like a pop culture thing.
Okay.
That you hear about all the time.
That's what I was assuming, but. Sarah? What was the second one you said? Blue. From a police standpoint, controversy with Black Lives Matter about should cops wear body cameras. I'll pretend that looks like a Y after body. What's big at Kmart? What's the gossip? Thank you for that contribution. 2020?
2024 now.
Oh, is it 2024 now? Told you I'm behind. What else? You're thinking recreational, not.
I guess the war on drugs in general.
Bless you. I mean, and specifically from, I mean, one dealing with legalization, one certainly about combating it. What would probably, I would think, like main drug right now is the greatest concern. I would think probably a heroin. Anything else?
Muslim ban.
Voter fraud.
Anything else? Doing pretty heavy topics today. No commercials stuck with you, Monica?
Last year the Oscars, they said like the Oscars.
Mm-hmm. Anything else?
Reality TV shows.
Probably just put TV shows at that point, I think, dude. Do you have a guilty pleasure TV show?
The Bachelor.
You almost like started to get teary eyed just thinking about it. Addie, who's in third grade, likes American Pickers, like the junk show, like on History. Actually, like the what's the one on A? There's an A&E. It's the Hoarders. Like we're like just like that's scary. American Pickers, I can watch that one with her, but Bachelor, we have not introduced her to. I don't see that one happen anytime soon. Anything else?
Maybe like tax season.
Mrs. King did the taxes last week. We're in the clear. Done. Becky, you don't have anything?
Just like the body
Oh, that's true. You don't have another one? College tuition? No, that's big for you folks. That's a big deal. What's an expensive school? I don't mean like name, but like what's the price range where you go, okay, that's expensive? Just curious. I don't have like a number in my. Jess, what were you saying?
There's a school in New York that I Hamilton.
Uh huh.
It's like 668 or 71,000.
So you're thinking that's a little high. Just a little bit. Like, would you go? Is it like 30,000, 35? Like, at what point do you start going? That's expensive. 40, 50. Okay. Beck, is that your main concern? Expensive? Yeah. You could even kind of, I guess, throw in, is it necessary in your mind? Depending on career, certainly, and things. Anything else? Going once, going twice. I'm sorry? Chipotle. What about Chipotle? Okay. Was it the, was it pork that they took out for a while, I think? I'm still sad over Qdoba leaving like 3 years ago. And now Burger 21's gone. Just empty. Arby's just owns that side. 5 roast beef sandwiches for like $5. Get a Jamocha shake. You're good to go. I haven't gotten Jimmy John's yet. think Subway's doing another like $6 a month or something like that for foot-long subs. So load up. Anything like food in general? Like what would be food concerns, trends? Like whether it be GMOs and all that kind of stuff. Luke's ready to. He's finger pointing. Don't get me started.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get started.
Oh, do something. We're flatlining today.
Oh, I was going to suggest to Melania Trump to reverse Michelle Obama's progressive cafeteria food ideals. I'm hoping.
It's bad.
Yeah. I'm hoping. Great. Even if I'm out of school by then, at least my brother might be able to.
What grade's your brother in?
He's 10th grade.
Yeah. Because certainly concern with cafeteria is going to be healthy foods taking place. All right. Anything else? Where?
Accent on soda.
Ooh, yeah. And primarily like sugar tax, you'll hear for it. Was it England? There was a country in Europe where they're no longer doing refills. Was it France? Might have been. But it was like kind of along those lines where, yeah, if it was like a McDonald's or a Wendy's, Arby's, whatever the case would be, they would no longer do soft drink free refills. You'd have to pay for another one with the hope, and it might have been France. I do, that sounds right. But the whole idea about, curbing obesity and things like that with it. Certainly remember that New York was putting a limit on the size of the drinks that you could get, so you couldn't get like the big 44-ounce gulp at 7-Eleven and that kind of stuff. I know, Luke, we don't all have your metabolism. We used to, don't anymore. But yeah, certainly sugar tax, those kind of drinks, things like that.
Alcohol can sort of get good.
Yeah, that's like a PA thing. Like, oh my goodness, it's going beyond a beer distributor and things like that. Alcohol sales. And with alcohol, there's always the push for, changing age limit and things like that. Much the same way there was for cigarettes at one time.
Do health trends, like juice blend stuff.
Like the fads that people, not fads, but yeah. So which one were you saying about?
I'm thinking of juice cleanses.
What's that? Health trends and me do not get along.
When you just like drink juice for a week or something.
Okay. So like cleanse your body through. I think I had like 8 pieces of pizza last night. That was good. Rest in peace, or see what happens with it. Anyone watch Saturday Night Live this past week? Melissa McCarthy and Sean Spicer, the White House press secretary, is kind of one of the trends that we have going on now, Sarah. Okay, now we got things going where we have a fair amount of space taking place. Ooh, yeah. Ryan, read that one. I'll send. I didn't say listen to Sarah. All right, so we have a large list. Clearly, we're not going to kind of keep it this tiny. What I'm hoping for us to be able to do, and not that this is the final list that we can only pull from this one. We can certainly tweak things quite a bit. I want to come up with 4 resolutions. Okay, so not like just topics, but like 4 actual worded resolutions. So, Luke, you were talking about cafeteria food, right? Health regulations and things like that. So, like a resolution could be healthy cafeteria regulations cause people to eat like more junk food or something like that. There's a protest where you're going to go, bless you, I'm going to bring in all my Twinkies and chocolate chip cookies and brownies and forget your whole juice cleansing thing. Or Coca-Cola should be sold in the cafeteria, since that would be a beverage that wouldn't be allowed to be. But to come up with a resolution, and the idea would be that we would have 4 resolutions, that we would draw names and topics, just like we did before, but you know what the 4 resolutions would be, but you would still need to be able to argue both sides. So in theory, you're really kind of researching 8 topics, because Caden can't go, marijuana legalization should be a legalized recreational drug for all parties 18 years and older in the United States. He can't go, I can only argue for one side. He would have to be able to argue both. So a way to certainly do this is go, okay, based on the things we have up here, what do you think is relevant, dynamic, probably most important, debatable, where you wouldn't be at an issue if you could only argue one side. So, Twitter, social media, has limited communication habits. It has kind of blurred the lines between private and public. It is the best thing that has happened to man since sliced bread. You can kind of make resolutions whatever way you want them to be. But I would say, what would be some topics that we have here already listed that you like? Or what would be some general concepts that you would want to look at? I don't think you want to have 3 technology-based topics, because then those arguments really kind of start to bleed over one another quite a bit. So based on the things that we have up here, what do you like? What do you think would be debatable? Or, knowing now what we need to do with it, what's that idea that has sparked in your head? Talking about current events, pop culture. Know what's going on in the world.
I think the blue light was on
Okay. What else? Did we have that one? Where were we for that one? Let's do it lower. There we go. Which one? The marijuana legalization. And it's not that we just have to stop at 4, but trying to kind of narrow down the list. Which ones do we think would work best?
maybe a less political one, like the sugar tax.
There you go.
College tuition.
I think that's a pretty relevant for you folks. I think that's a. Did I pass it? There we go. And with college tuition, it could be. I don't think you're going to eliminate tuition. You could certainly argue that there should be caps or there should not be caps. More funding going in. Even just the big thing right now is the way that the loans are set up. There is not any real regulation over how the loans work. Buy a house, you get a mortgage. That's a federally regulated loan. The college interest loans are all over the place. So that certainly would be an area that could use some regulation. And there are certainly a lot of folks who would argue going to college was the worst thing that ever happened to me, financially speaking, based on what career is. So sounds a little awkward maybe saying this as teaching CHS class, which is college and high school, but there even could be the argument that is college pushed on people too much? Are we making Nick go to college where there could be other avenues that he might want to pursue that could be more useful for him? Now we just gave Ryan a migraine about college. Can't even say anything about Jay going to Akron. Not here. Anything else? Boy, we're making this easy. Luke, you're awfully quiet today. All right, so we have. And I'm not saying again that we need to choose them exactly, but we have sugar. Here, let's just kind of go in order. Sugar tax. Meredith, you said about that one. Are you in favor of a tax? Yes. Amount of money, you think? Is there like an amount of money?
No. I just think there should be a tax placed on it.
With the hopes of simply limiting the amount of sugar intake that people have. Philadelphia did theirs where it was 1.25 cents per ounce. So if you got a 12-ounce can of Coke, 1.25 times 12 is going to be 16 cents, 16 or 15 cents would be added to it. But if you get a case or something like that, a 30-pack at Sam's Club, then that's when those prices would kind of be going up a little bit more. Would you be thinking for like grocery store only, or would that also be something at restaurants that could like take place?
I like the note refill idea.
Okay. Sam's Club is sneaky. They put the big cups right there at the checkout lines. It's only 89 cents, Monica. Just get another one on your way out the door. That's right. Any other ideas for sugar taxes? Should we bring pop machines back to the North Hills cafeteria? No. Yes.
I should at least get the one with juice working. It's like all the ingredients in there and it's always broken.
How can Mary do her cleanse?
She can't, but throw it.
Exactly.
Would alcohol count?
With the way that it was set up in Philadelphia, no, there was not a separate alcohol tax. It was because you could also like with fruit juices, talking about like they have natural juices in it. There was a certain percentage, I don't remember how much, but like V8 juice, orange juice, Minute Maid was not going to be taxed. I can look into it to see what that overall the stipulations kind of were for it, Kate.
I feel like the tax could be higher for at least the amount of money. Because I know they made cigarettes cost more.
Mm-hmm.
And people still continue to smoke and they're running themselves in the ground basically.
We were at a birthday party yesterday, and I forget how smoking got involved because the one guy went outside for a smoke break, and he's in his 50s, so he's like, I've been smoking for like 30 years. He was calculating how much money he spends a year on cigarettes, and it was like $7,000 a year. He times that by 50. You're worried about college tuition, $350,000 right there, would be useful money for any kind of way. But yeah, basically it outpriced people from wanting to buy it. If you have that addiction for it, you're probably still going to purchase it, but it certainly would keep someone new from getting it. I'm still going to get my case of Pepsi, every other week, probably regardless of what the tax would be at this point. But it certainly could limit how much, the 6-year-old, the 9-year-old, how much you folks would be able to have as well. So you'd be interested in that tax even kind of going up,
Yeah.
so it does kind of outprice it.
What about the people that use sugar, like, pretty much survive with
Mm-hmm.
people need that and they should be taxed on that.
Which is good about you bringing it up, because when you do say health concerns, usually you kind of think about the obesity. And I don't want to spend too much time on this one, so that in case we do go with it, we still have some ways. But you've brought up a counterpoint. So there is still some debatability to it. And then certainly also, that's big business for a lot of places. A lot of jobs, Coca-Cola, I don't know if it's the largest business in Georgia, but it has a pretty big footprint in Georgia where it is based. There certainly would be a lot of economic downfall that would be taking place from it.
Another counter argument would probably be, where do you draw the line? Because then you have foods with sugar and then.
Well, and, essentially what you are doing is you are creating a tax or a regulation that governs personal well-being. why do you outprice cigarettes? Why do you make alcohol sales illegal for someone under 21? You are regulating a person's health and well-being, and maybe in alcohol more so how that can affect other people. Certainly with drunk driving and things like that. But at what point do you go? Government draws the line. If I want to drink a wild cherry Pepsi every day, why can't I? So that can kind of also become the argument where do you draw the line not only with the types of products, but where do you draw the line as to how far a government can go over personal, freedoms, privacy, and things like that.
In a way, it's the same argument as abortion, where it's your body, your choice. So, if you choose to put that sugar in your body, you shouldn't really have to pay that much of it.
Yeah, I'd say we got to be careful that we don't kind of tread on the false analogy part a little too much, to use the logical fallacy, because certainly the issue that does come up with abortion is going to be, the life is conception equal to life and things like that, where that part's not going to come in with the sugar tax. But there is certainly, yes, that regulation over what a person does to his or her body. How far does a government have control of that? So there certainly are some aspects then that you can see that take place. So this one certainly seems to have some strong potential. What we're going to do tomorrow is continue to take a look at this list. I think we're okay with sugar tax. I'm not saying that it's definitely going to happen, but it's one that we certainly do have some things for. But take a look at college tuition. Take a look at the immigration ban, marijuana legalization, Black Lives Matter. Yeah, so we got like 5. Really, if it's from those 5, what are things about them that are debatable? What are things that we would be able to do? Is there one that we would want to eliminate? The thing that I would say we currently have going for us is all 5 are pretty different from one another. We're not dealing with, Twitter and cell phone technology, laptops in schools, iPads are wonderful, where we all have technology issues that we need to try to sort out, but we're going in some pretty different directions with it. So that's all pretty good. If you think of anything between now and tomorrow where you go, ooh, here's the idea that I really want to look at, by all means you can bring that up. We haven't narrowed it down to 5. But I'm hoping when we walk out of here tomorrow, we got 4 resolutions, or at least 4 specific topics that we can look at, and I can kind of come up with some wording resolutions. By Wednesday, we're going to have laptops in here, and then I am going to show you some websites, resources, databases that are worthwhile for us to take a look at. I'll show you where you can get the registration information that you need if you want for the CHS registration, if we're good, as well as some other resources. Have a good day. Good luck on your English test. Remember, if it's not going well, do the emotional appeal test. I could have gone home for serious, but I stuck it out. It's worth like 12 points.
Yeah. You should give me points because I chose to stay.
And if you tell her that, you muted the halftime show just so you could listen to Born to Run,
Exactly.
and then you got another 5 points. Oh, the Yam book. It's the Yam book. Yams are gold.